Los Angeles, I'm Stephen A. Smith. This guy next to me needs no introduction. The one and only Michael Wilbon. Thanks for being here. Fans, we got a special Sports Center show for you tonight.
Thanks, Stephen. That's right. If you're a basketball junkie, you want to stick around for the next hour. Irvin Johnson will join us to address the latest Lakers story by ESPN's Baxter Holmes. But we are primarily here to preview the NBA Finals, starting with what the Warriors will do without Kevin Durant in Game 1. We'll also talk about Kawhi Leonard's defensive responsibilities and how they may affect his offense. And by the way, a guy named Glenn Rivers, coach of the Clippers, will join us live right here in the studio to break down the NBA Finals. So let's do it.
We understand how hard it is to win at this level.
It's what you play for. This is our goal every year.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
It will be a tall task.
I'm not afraid of the moment. I enjoy it.
I won't give up on my hopes and dreams.
Gives it to Leonard. Bang! Bang! Lost by Green. He is untouchable.
4 more wins and get back to celebrating.
The crew is in the house. Welcome to this special Sports Center edition, NBA Finals preview. Mike Wilbon to my left, the one and only Irvin Magic Johnson in the house, right here next to me, and of course, your man.
Like old times now.
Yes,
We've done this a few times.
We've done this a few times, no question. But first, let's handle some business here. We need to address ESPN's Baxter Holmes and his article on more behind-the-scenes turmoil for the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's Shelly Smith with a recap.
When Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka were handed the keys to the Laker Kingdom in February 2017, nobody expected this. Disharmony, distrust, anxiety attacks, allegations of backstabbing, abuse, and basically sheer chaos when Magic quit 2 years later. Fans thought they were saviors. Showtime was back, and all would be right in Lakerland. But you cannot take drama out of L.A. Pelinka accused Johnson of not working hard. Magic accused Pelinka of backstabbing. Both are accused of intimidating employees to the point that 2 had panic attacks. Magic said he never disrespected anyone. According to Baxter Holmes' story on ESPN.com, Pelinka made up a story about Kobe Bryant meeting Heath Ledger for dinner to talk about how he locks in a role. The meeting was tied to Ledger's iconic role as the Joker in The Dark Knight. But one of Holmes' sources with direct knowledge said the dinner never happened, and Ledger died 6 months before the movie was released. During the 2018 draft, staffers in one war room strongly suggested taking Villanova power forward Omari Spellman. Instead, Pelinka and Magic, in another war room, chose Moritz Wagner from Michigan, where Pelinka had played his college basketball. Pelinka has been known to sit in coaches' meetings, irregular for an NBA GM. And Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, weighed in on not only trying to get rid of head coach Luke Walton, but also was trying to get players traded for a superstar, in particular the Pelicans' Anthony Davis. Paul had so much access to the team that, as Holmes reported, rode on the team charter. Highly unusual, although Paul said it happened only once. Still, players told Holmes Paul's career presence was destructive and, quote, a culture killer. When the Davis trade fell through, after players were dangled as trade bait, one Lakers coaching staff member told Holmes, guys know there's no trust there. So what happens now this summer, in one of the biggest free agency periods yet? If the Lakers can't land someone to move the needle, they could be facing their 7th season without making the playoffs.
Now, here we are for the Sports Center special, and obviously we will get into the NBA Finals because that's primarily what this show is about. But you see what has been written, whether it's Rich Paul having too much influence, whether it's Magic Johnson, you yourself, 2 sides to Magic Johnson, the one that smiled before the camera and the one who was practically tyrannical as a leader for the Los Angeles Lakers. Your response to these reports?
I've been in business 35 years.
I've had partnerships with some of the biggest companies, Fortune 500 companies in the country. Now, I've never sat in an HR person's office in 35 years. 2 years with the Lakers, no HR appearance. Jeannie Buss, do you think Jeannie Buss will allow me to abuse the employees? If that was the case, she would have called me in. Joe McCormick would have called me in, the lawyer for the Lakers, as well as Dan, the other lawyer. It never happened, right? I'm a person who brings everybody together, uplift the employees. I've never abused an employee, and I never will. That's not what I'm all about. Now, Rich Paul had access to the Lakers because he had 2 clients with the Lakers. He called and said, hey, I'm in Brooklyn. We talked about allowing him to fly back with the team. That's the only time he flew with the team because he was in Brooklyn, and I allowed him to do it. That was on me. I allowed him to do that. Then let's go to, Rob and I, when we were there, we worked well together. But the little thing that was going on behind the scene, that bothered me. And last but not least, lazy. I have built a $600 million business. You cannot be lazy going from playing basketball and winning 5 championships. So I wasn't lazy as a player, and I'm not lazy as a CEO and a business owner. That's never going to happen. I was brought up in Lansing, Michigan. My father worked for General Motors for 30 years, never missed a day, never was late. Do you think he going to allow me with 6 sisters and 3 brothers to be lazy? Not a chance. Now, last but not least, I worked for ESPN for 2 different separate occasions, right? Worked for him, I think, a total of maybe about 8 years. Worked with that man right there. Let's ask, why didn't he ask every ESPN employee, did I ever abuse them? Never happened, right? We work well together with Stewart, with JB, with Michael. I'm a guy that will tell you the truth. Now, a lot of Laker employees didn't like that I held them accountable. That's what my job was. Did I have to fire some people? Yes, because we had to bring about change and get better. And I think we got a great staff. I will say this right now. The Lakers got a great staff. What's got to happen now is we got to get out the news. I'm really upset that I'm sitting here talking about that because I should be talking about Steph, Clay,
you will.
Draymond,
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Kawhi. That's what I want to be talking about. And I think today will be my last day until July when I come on First Take, because I want to thank you for allowing me to come and tell my truth on First Take. And I'm going to come back and talk about what happened in the offseason. That's the next time I'm going to talk about the Lakers in July.
Last thing that I want to get to. By the way, I missed the lazy part on Sunday when you would call and get me up earlier and say, can we get to the studio? And you had already had meetings. I'm sorry I missed that part. What would you do differently as owning as many successful businesses and ventures, and some of them you created? Mm-hmm. What, if anything, would you do differently? And is basketball so different that you would approach it differently, Irvin?
Well, I would have hired my own people from the beginning. The one thing I didn't get to do is hire everybody that I wanted, right? Rob and I got put together. I inherited Luke Walton. So I didn't get to hire my own people. And so then you can judge me. Hey, you can judge me by trades I made. You can judge me by I didn't have enough shooters. Yes. Did I do some things wrong? Of course. And I admitted those things. I'm not a guy who's going to run from the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. And also, you can talk bad about me. If I did something wrong, I don't mind that. Whether it's on ESPN or other shows, say that Magic made mistakes, because I learned from my mistakes. But I'm going to also tell you what I didn't do. I've never gotten called from Starbucks, from Sony when I had to deal with Magic Johnson Theaters. I can keep going right now. Sodexo, all the partnerships I have, the Dodgers and Guggenheim. Nobody has ever called me and said Magic mistreated an employee, ever. And that would never happen. I love coming in. Even here, I still know all the people here, working here. What's the first thing I do? Oh, he's still here. How you doing? That's who I am. And so it's okay if you want to try to lie on Magic. Go ahead. But I know the truth. Jeannie knows the truth, because if I had disrespected somebody, she would have called me in her office. And that never happened. HR would have called me. It never happened. 2 years, never.
Good enough for you?
Yes, sir.
Good enough for me?
Yes, sir.
Time to talk some NBA Finals, y'all. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Coming up next on this Sports Center special, Clippers head coach Doc Rivers will join the show.
One of the best in the league.
That's right. We'll break down how Kevin Durant's injury will impact the Warriors in Game 1. So keep it locked right here. Do not touch that dial.
Glad you can play for a month. You can round out a great month.
You can't play defense the way the Los Angeles Lakers have been playing defense.
Find our way back to the start.
If they need help, shoot our coach.
You don't never let the outside noise get to you, and if you do that can cause you a problem.
The season was bad. The offseason not going great either. Baxter Holmes' piece on ESPN.com this morning exposed some serious rifts in the Lakers organization. Accounts of Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, meddling in team business, and Jeannie Buss's close friend Linda Rambis having such influence that some called her a shadow owner. One ex-Laker player going so far as to say, quote, "It's bleeping crazy over there." Here's the reaction this AM to that story.
The Lakers are the Kardashians of the NBA. It's the best reality show on TV.
This dysfunction is off the charts.
A lot of people in the building have a great sense of doubt. You know, I've heard the term shock, confusion. I don't think we have a plan.
First off, this starts with Jeannie Buss, the leader. The dysfunction normally started to happen when you hire Rob before you hire Magic, but then Magic's supposed to be the final decision maker. That doesn't work.
Staffers would describe, are we going to see Irving today or are we going to see Magic? Magic is the charismatic one, 1,000-watt smile, but Irving could be the very demonstrative one. Some people would even describe his persona as being intimidation, bullying, leading by fear.
With Magic and Rob making decisions, we saw them bring in Lance, Rondo, Beasley. Nobody thought that was a good idea.
No. Having severe credibility issues for someone at the top, as Rob has, leading a team forward, team building, the flow of information is incredibly important. Personnel hirings to draft, free agency, trades is incredibly important.
If I'm a Lakers fan and I'm reading that story, what I'm saying is, wait a minute, I'd rather have Magic still in that job than Pelinka. I'd be in a better situation if Pelinka was gone and Magic was still there, even though that's not a great situation either.
Rich Paul was writing on the Lakers team charter, an act that general managers, executives, coaches, agents, even players told me is highly unusual, if not unheard of, for an agent to be doing with a team. His presence on the team plane was considered to be destructive to the culture.
In terms of Rich Paul, I spoke to Rich Paul this morning. Rich Paul said, Stephen A., I flew on a team plane once. I was on the East Coast. I was going across the West Coast. And I was getting ready to go, and they said, you need a ride? And they gave me a ride.
There's so many tentacles to this thing. You need a president. You need one voice to the owner. I know when it comes to free agency, it really comes down to four things: the money, the winning, who you're playing with, and the city you're in. And the Lakers have that.
All right, so tonight on ESPN, 7 p.m. Eastern, Stephen A., Michael Wilbon, joined by Doc Rivers, and yes, Magic Johnson for an hour of NBA Finals talk. They'll preview the upcoming series between the Warriors and the Raptors, and that'll include picks for who wins the title. It's 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN from Los Angeles.
The only thing that's important is winning.
I did not call to play. I came to dominate. Dominate.
That's a three. Bang!
Dominate. Dominate. Dominate.
WP again for three. World peace.
Dominate. I did not call to play. I came to dominate.
Hey, people over there on your laptops, acknowledge me, please.
FWP with an emphatic slam.
Dominate.
Say Queensbridge. Queensbridge, yeah.
All right, hold on, folks. The one and only Meta World Peace joins me now here on Coast to Coast. He has a documentary coming out about his life, Quiet Storm, the Ron Artest story. It's going to debut Friday on Showtime. And speaking of Storm, once again, the Lakers are making headlines that we talked about all morning long, and not in a good way. You played for the team. You know some of the players. You know the history. What do you make of all this dysfunction?
I mean, I think, one, I told you earlier, your makeup is amazing. I love your choices. Two, they should have played Champions rather than the Dominate song.
Okay.
And three, I love the editing. Everything is great at ESPN. Shout out to ESPN. Y'all doing y'all thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But you know, with the Lakers, I feel like everything is fine. First off, people are talking about Jeannie Buss and like she can't handle this job. For number one, she is running the top organization in the world. and she's making decisions accordingly. Nobody else has that job. The Lakers has 16 championship banners and only second to Boston Celtics. So we are in great position.
Well, the reason why people are saying we're not in great position is because of what happened recently. How do you have Magic leave unexpectedly and no one knows? Rob Pelinka, allegedly no relationship with anyone in the NBA, and there's a distrust factor there. And then you have this superstar in LeBron James, and yet you want to attract a new free agent. How do you do that with all of the dysfunction?
So let's look at the positives. Jeannie Buss took over, and she brought in Magic, and Magic helped with LeBron. Magic is gone. LeBron James, the king, he is still with the Lakers organization. And the king wants to win. Jeannie wants to win because she has the same traits as her dad. The Lakers are in good position, and they're a strong organization.
All right, so during the commercial break, as we were talking, you said an agent on a private plane with a team's private plane is not acceptable.
Well,
why did you say that?
Let me tell you why. So certain teams have different rules. So Rick Adelman, I was able to bring my daughter and my son on a plane. With the Pacers and Rick Carlisle, that's probably not acceptable. With the Lakers, I've never seen that. So it's certain, like if I was a coach, it's certain things I wouldn't accept. You know, and maybe I might let someone on the plane, maybe, but probably not, you know. But other than that, the Lakers are in really good position.
So you keep saying that, but how? Where are the signs, Meta, that they are in good condition, even though they have 16 championships? That was Laker lore of yesteryear.
I'll tell you, Queen. I'm going to tell you, because you are a queen and your makeup is glowing. I love it. But LeBron James got hurt. First off, if Lonzo didn't get hurt, they go to the playoffs. I feel like Lonzo getting hurt them more than LeBron getting hurt. Sorry. And I love LeBron James. Now, LeBron gets hurt. They was, fourth place? And I'm a Laker fan because things I've done with the Lakers and how the fans treat me. So I'm a Laker fan. And I felt like if they didn't get hurt, they would have been in the playoffs and potentially at the conference finals.
Okay.
They're in really good position.
So you're saying if we didn't have the injuries, the Lakers didn't have the injuries, then there would be a different position. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now with those injuries and you lose, the best story, the best people to kill or to smash is the Lakers organization.
All right, I understand that. Speaking of the finals, let's talk about it. The Warriors have had 9 full days off. They will be playing without Kevin Durant. Can they win this series without Kevin Durant?
They can win. Kawhi is my favorite player in the NBA because I always wanted to be like a player like Kawhi. We kind of built the same. When I was 23, I almost got MVP. And I see what he's doing with his career. I really want to see him win. Now, with that being said, I feel like the Golden State Warriors are destined to be bigger than a dynasty. The Warriors must win if they want to be considered a dynasty like the Bulls. If they don't win, then I can't see them being considered like a dynasty like the Bulls.
Okay, you say they must win, but can they do it without KD?
They can do it without KD. Now, I said something earlier, and I don't mean to discredit or downplay Kevin Durant's game. I feel like the Warriors were going to win with or without KD. I feel like Stephen Curry is that good. You know, so I still feel like they can win without KD. But KD does make them better.
He does make them better.
Yes, he makes them better.
That's fair. Meta World Peace, folks. If you know anything about him, it's always a whirlwind of an interview and a good time when he's on the show. I appreciate you for joining us here on Coast to Coast.
Shout out to me. Shout out to Queensbridge. You already know what it is. We here. What's really good? The doc is coming out.
It's interesting. David Lloyd was going to say the same thing. You got it, David.
Yeah.
Meta stole my line. Coming up, we'll talk more about the NBA Finals, plus the story of a former Marine who overcame so much to win his first title belt. He'll join us live.